The Subaru Outback is entirely redesigned for 2026, and it's still giving you a choice of two engine options. The 2.5-liter naturally aspirated Boxer 4 that we have here, and an optional 2.4 turbo. So what sort of fuel economy can you expect if you go with this lower horsepower offering? Well, tonight we're going to find out. Hey everybody, it's Charlie from DM Moto, and today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test on the 2026 Subaru Outback Touring. In this test, I'm going to head out on the highway and do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour, to get a realistic fuel economy number for this compacty mid-size crossover. So, it's not really a wagon anymore, is it? But before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. Yes, entirely new for 2026, the Subaru Outback. Some people are not super sold on the styling, and unfortunately I think I'm one of those. I don't think it's quite as attractive as the previous Outback, which wasn't a super looker, but it wasn't ugly. It had sort of a charm of its own. This one, a little bit boxier, a little bit more like the Forester, but still a bit larger. The Subaru lineup, really, I mean, they split hairs when it comes to the sizes of these vehicles, so you really get to choose what you like and don't like about the models, and then kind of go from there. But if you do want to see more on the Outback, check the link below. We've got our full pros and cons review, as well as a dedicated review of the Harman Kardon audio system. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives this Outback 31 miles per gallon, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are plenty of people who do higher speeds than that on the highway at steady state and would like to know what sort of number you can realistically expect here in the real world. So in order to test that out, I'm going to head over to the gas station here at night. We're going to fill it up, go out and do 100 miles, come back, fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method, and get a result. Now, a few things to note for the test. Outside temperature will be somewhere in the mid to high 50s Fahrenheit. Our tire pressures will be set at their door placard 35 PSI front, 33 PSI rear. And I'm going to have the climate control set at 73 degrees auto. So, let's get the clock turned to nighttime and head out to the test. We are all fueled up, put in just over 1.5 gallons of 87 octane. Before starting the engine, we're going to reset the vehicle's trip computer. And did they get rid of our trip computer button? I believe they did. So, what do we hold to reset? Does that work? Oh, trip resets right there. Okay. Average A is reset, trip is reset. Let's get our GPS reset. And we are ready to begin. Still not exactly any drive modes here in the Outback. We do have S and we don't have S and I anymore, at least not here on the steering wheel. Sorry, I just got done doing the Crosstrek, so I'm kind of relearning Subaru stuff that I was kind of taking for granted after being in the Crosstrek for a week. We do still have our X modes, but we won't be utilizing those for cruising on the highway. So I'm going to take it nice and easy over to the highway. It's about half a mile away, and pick up the test from there. Now, the goal of this test isn't to hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy for this car, but rather a realistic figure. So in order to do that, I'm getting up to highway speed here at a reasonable pace, and I'm going to set the cruise control to a GPS-indicated 71 miles per hour. That should allow us to average 70 over the whole test. There we are, getting up to speed, no problem. We're going to settle in. Let's see, 60, 70. Okay, GPS and car speedometer seem to be pretty in sync, so I think 71 on the dash is giving us 71 on the GPS. Now, I am curious to see how the Outback's active lane keeping functionality works compared to the Crosstreks, because I wasn't very happy with the Crosstreks. Initial impression so far with my week here in the Subaru Outback, it's a little better, but not much. It's still, if you look at the radio for just slightly too long, or look out the window or anything, it really freaks out. So we'll see how it does over the 100 miles, but I don't have my hopes up. Other than that, though, it seems quiet enough and comfortable enough in here. Oh, we do have an active lane changing functionality as well, so that'll be interesting to see how it performs throughout the test. So I'm going to continue on with the test and catch up with you at the end. And in the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the Subaru Outback. Decent fuel economy, looking at 31.5 according to the vehicle's trip readout. Not too bad there, I would say, for an all-wheel drive vehicle of this size. And no sort of hybridization or any fancy powertrain or anything like that. Decent amount of power. Comfort, There's something about the seat, and I noticed this a bit in the Crosstrek, but it seems worse in the Outback. It doesn't go low enough. And I'm not a particularly tall person. I'm just 5'10", 32-inch inseam. But I like my seat to be fairly low. And I'm finding myself not really being able to be comfortable in the seat. I'm continually moving myself around. I don't quite understand what's going on. It does have this adjustable thigh support, so that's nice, but yeah, I've found myself lifting the front up and wanting to put the back down, and I just can't get it. And then also the big square digital screen in front of me gets blocked off by the steering wheel on the side, so that doesn't look fantastic. Taking a look at our tack shot, we're looking just a hair under 2,000 RPM, cruising at 70-ish miles per hour there. So fairly understandable. The active lane keeping, still a little bit frustrating. There were a few times I kind of tried to pull off an exit on an exit ramp. Not dramatically, but it did happen. And then, yeah, it's just not the type that you could really just confidently let it go through hold through the lanes and everything. So, not the worst, but definitely not the best system on the market in this class. So I'm going to get it back to the pump. We're going to fill it up and crunch our final numbers, compare it to the last Outback we tested, and wrap things up. All fueled up, we put in 2.998 gallons back into the tank here. And similar thing happened with the Crosstrek. The mileage on the car is decently short of the actual mileage traveled. We did 100.3 miles. The car says we've only done 99.5. Now our total average came out to 31.8, but I know from this rough math that it's going to be a little bit better than that. So 100.3 divided by 2.998 is giving us 33 miles per gallon here in the new Subaru Outback. Now, I was not...
Can you say that again? Canceling.
Apparently we have some voice wake word when you say that name. I was not lacking for power by any means throughout that drive, so totally fine with going with the non-turbo motor and saving a little bit at the pump. That does beat the EPA as well. 31 according to the EPA, 33 on the pump. Not mad about that. We've got a healthy 18-gallon fuel tank in here, so 18 gallons times 33 miles per gallon is giving you a great 590-mile cruising range here in the new Outback Touring. Can definitely load this up with some people, some gear on the roof, and still have a very reasonable highway cruising range. Now, the only Outback we've tested before the previous gen, unfortunately, was just the Wilderness, and that got 26 miles per gallon, so not really anything impressive or to compare to, but I'm decently happy with that 33 figure here on this one. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the new Outback, check the link below for our full review and our dedicated review of the Harman Kardon audio system. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.